Hello everyone, this is Concho from Concho Sewing and welcome. In this video tutorial I'll be showing you how to make a sleeping bag compression strap. It's very useful to have one if you're an outdoors person or if you're going camping. It's very easy to make and it's very good practice to practice your sewing. So let's start making this one. Okay, first thing we need to determine radius of the sleeping bag. So let's measure that. It says 18 centimeters. We'll add 1 centimeter just in case. So the first thing we need to do is to cut out two circles for top and bottom part, and then we need to cut out the parts that are going to go on the sides. Alright, let's do some drawing. 18 centimeters is the radius, so we said we're gonna add 1 centimeter. That's 19 centimeters divided by 2, 9.5. That's gonna be our circle. We need 2 of those, so let's draw 2 of these. Okay, before we start cutting, we need to find the center point where we started with our divider. Mark the middle point, place the ruler, find 9.5 centimeters, draw a straight line. You can press or draw lightly. Then add the triangle ruler directly top of the ruler you're holding to the middle point, and then straight line to the other side 90 degrees, so we get a cross section. Also mark 90 centimeters on both sides, so we get this nice accurate 90 degrees cross shape, which we'll use later. Now repeat the process here. And there we go. We have 2 accurate circles. Now let's cut those out. Okay, so we got 2 circles. Now the next thing is to draw on paper the part which is going to go on all 4 sides. Is going to go like this. So we need to draw that out. This is how we are going to go about it. So we'll take our ruler and we're going to measure from one start of the quarter to the end of it. We need to measure this distance first. We're going to do it centimeter by centimeter, slightly curving the ruler. This is why this is great, because you can bend it. So I got 14.5 centimeters. Now, since we want to get from this point to this point, but We want also to have the measure of this 2.5 centimeter webbing, which needs to go straight from the middle, straight down on both sides. So we need the part of the canvas that will go from this part to this part. So we're going to add half of the webbing on both sides, so we get the correct measure. So half of the 2.5 centimeter is 1.25. So we'll add 1.25 on both sides. Alright, now it's time to draw. So 14.5 centimeters from this point to this point, and we want to add 1.25 centimeters on both sides. So that's 2.5 centimeters plus 14.5, 17 centimeters. So we'll draw 17 centimeters. Measure that again. 14.5 is the part we said, 14.5, and 2.5 centimeters the rest. Okay, now the next thing we want to do is to draw a middle point. 17 divided by 2 is 8.5. So 8.5, mark the start and ending position. Now use the ruler again, straight angle, draw a big line. Draw a big line here, another one in the middle, and a third line at the end. Okay, so let's mark 14.5 centimeters from the middle. 14 divided by 2 is 7.25, so 7.25 here, one mark here, and another one here, 7.25. Let's add another line, one here and another one here. So what we did now is we determined the direct line that goes from the middle here, the line that follows this one and goes straight down, and another one that goes straight down. The 2.5 centimeters we added is for the webbing. So when we overlay both cross sections here, they are 2.5 centimeters right here. So next thing we want to determine is how much of the distance we want this part to go down. So let's add, I don't know, 6 centimeters sounds okay. However, you can do this, you can add whatever distance you like or prefer, or depending on how big your sleeping bag is. Alright, now let's draw another line here. Let's connect these two dots. Now when we drew this line, we want to mark 2.5 centimeters from both sides here and here. Same on the upper line, 2.5 centimeters. And let's connect those. Okay, so we get the divider. We use the same measure from the start, and that's 9.5 centimeters. Check that measure again. Okay, so that's 9.5 centimeters. And the next thing we want to do is place the pen on this mark here or this mark here. Either of these. Place the pen on it and find where the pointy end of the divider is touching the middle point here. When you get that point, just another circle. Like so. Now, next thing is cutting that part out. And this is what we got. Template for the side parts of the compression strap. Now we need to cut 8 of these and sew them together. Now I would recommend using a translucent tape to tape over it to make it a bit stronger and sturdier. Okay, this will do. Now time to cut out some material. Now that we drawn 8 parts, we need to cut out those. Alright, now what you left are these parts. There should be 8 of them. You're just leaving the top part like so, a bit extra canvas. All the rest you cut by the line that you marked, and you're gonna see why. Okay, so now it's time to sew this together. Okay, now it's time to connect all of these, and the way we're going to do that is by placing them like this. So we have exactly 2.5 centimeters space for the webbing. Now let's go and connect all 4 of those. When this part overlaps, it gives us exactly 2.5 centimeters. Let's sew a box shape here. Another one on top. When you sew all 4 of these, don't forget to close the loop. And this is what you get, a reversed crown. If you place it like this, it can be a crown. Okay, so now onto the bottom part. Okay, so that's another one. Now we need to connect these on top of these. We're going to go around and try to align it as much as you can. If you see this, like so, and start sewing. As you go along, you want to align the canvas centimeter by centimeter, so you have it right at the end. When you get to the next section, try and align it as much as you can. Okay, so this is what you should get by the end. Now let's do some minor adjustments. For the start, let's sew this part that's sticking out. This part that's sticking out to the side part, like so. So press it downwards and sew it. Alright, that's done. Now the thing I'd like to do is to do a stitching from all four sides, just to make it a bit stronger, depending on the canvas you're using, because of the nature of the use for this strap. You want it reinforced, because you're going to compress your sleeping bag as hard as you can, and you want that canvas to withstand that force, not just first time, but to keep holding the force of the compression. So I'll do double stitching, cross double stitching. Okay, so that's a bit reinforced, as you can see. Now for the other part, and we'll need to sew some straps and some plastic adjusters. Okay, let's sew the bottom part. Try and align it as much as you can. Okay, bottom part is done. Now let's get to the plastic adjusters and top part. Okay, now you're gonna need some plastic adjusters. These are YKK plastic adjusters. These are amazing. What you can do with these if you're creative enough. You need 4 of those, and you need some webbing. We need 4 pieces. I'll cut 4 of those. I'm eyeballing it, but you can measure it. I'm guessing it's going to sit just like this, and plastic adjuster is going to be inside, like so. Okay, now let's cut 3 of these more and sew them on. To get the same measure, you take the one you decided how long it's going to be, place it on top like so, and cut. Repeat the process. Take the lighter, light up the ends. When you light up and the webbing melts, then you press it with your lighter and you get very nice edge, which will not unravel. I hate that when it happens. Okay, now let's place the plastic adjusters inside. Like so. Now let's sew it on. You can sew it on top of the canvas, or you can make a sort of a sandwich, if you will, like so. That goes on both inside and outside. Now don't forget the very important part. Plastic adjuster, this part needs to look down. So don't place it backwards like so, because it will not work. It works only when it's down like so. Okay, let's sew some box shapes here. Align it well so it's all even. Okay, so this looks fine, looks about right, and now you just repeat the process on all and the rest of the 3 sides. Repeat the process. Now you understand why we added that space, 1.22 centimeters on both sides when we drew the line, because now the webbing sits exactly right in the middle. Alright, this looks fine. Now let's do the bottom part. Okay, now for the bottom part, we got a bottom part. We need some webbing, and you need your sleeping bag. Now, to decide how much of the webbing you need from the bottom to the top, place it like so, top. So you're having maybe 2 centimeters for the box shape stitch bottom, from the bottom, from here and back the same way. So that's approximately the measure you want. So cut 4 of these. Okay, now burn the ends and sew them on the bottom of the bottom part. Okay, let's burn those ends. Okay, now time to sew it on the bottom. Now before I start sewing, important thing to have in mind. I'm using PVC canvas, which is very durable, very strong. It's hard to rip it apart. So that's why I'm not taping the ends. I'm not even bothering to do this and sew it on, because I know this is going to stay like this, and if it even starts to unravel a bit, I can take a lighter and just correct it. So if you're using any different kind of canvas, you might want to tape it or fold it and sew it up. So that's an important thing to mention. Now onto the sewing part. So again, we are sewing a box shape stitch. You can leave 2 centimeters from the end, or how much you want. It's up to you. Okay, so this is done, and it looks like a squid. Okay, now time to connect bottom and top part. Now before I do this, we need to do one more thing. We need to cut these ends at an angle, like so, all 4 sides, because it will be much easier to thread it through the plastic adjuster. Also, don't forget to burn the ends. Now connect the parts. You can see now why it's good to cut the webbing at an angle, because it's way easier to thread it like so, unlike if you have it at 90 degrees. Alright, now this is our compression strap. This is our sleeping bag. Actually, that's my sleeping bag. before I start compressing it, I want to measure it. The current height of the sleeping bag is around 35 centimeters. Now let's try compressing it. You want to tuck that in, nice and tight, snug as a bug. You can now start and pulling those straps on, one at a time. When you start compressing it, you're going to realize why the materials need to be very tough, because you can easily rip the material apart like so, because you're pulling very hard, and it's going to stay like that. It's going to stay compressed. Okay, so this is the compressed one. I can compress it more, but I think it's okay now. And we compressed it about 7 centimeters, 7-8 centimeters. Let's compress it a bit more. "26 centimeters, so maybe 10 centimeters of compression. Okay, so that looks really nice. Okay everyone, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. Comment below and let me know what you think about it. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe. You can support me on Patreon. I hope you enjoyed this video and you keep learning. Thank you for watching, and I'll be seeing you in the next tutorial.